With the glowing reviews Aberrant Action has got from pretty much everybody, it's safe to say this is the go-to rocket sidearm. But honestly, I'm not really sure. Indebted Kindness has been my go-to for a while, and in my opinion has a bit more of a stacked perk pool. But it is close. I do understand the comparison may well be the best energy slot option compared to the second best energy slot option, so things might get a bit pedantic, but let's get into it. These rocket sidearms are best used for effective ad clear, basically a more versatile version of a waveframe grenade launcher, and are popular due to fantastic ammo economy, anti-champion capability, and not feeling completely useless in harder content. So with that in mind, that's what I'll be looking for in both options, and just what they can do to play into their own individual strengths with synergistic builds. First up, the perks. The Indebted Kindness of the original rocket sidearm. I think the main thing people are looking for here is voltshot, as a defining perk in column 4. And absolutely, this is perfect for the archetype as it allows for increased ad clear, as well as being able to deal with overload champions on top of its artifact anti-unstop. So with a single perk alone, that's already 2 benefits. And column 3 has lead from gold, a huge benefit in the ammo economy department. In Destiny, there's always a soft juggler-like effect. If you're using a special weapon, it will make heavy ammo more likely to drop. If you're using a heavy weapon, it will make more special drop. And if you're using a primary, especially an exotic, it will increase both types of ammo drop significantly. But with perks like lead from gold, it's possible to use Indebted Kindness as essentially a stronger primary weapon. Be sure to also use special ammo finder mods with any rocket sidearm, as this will function despite them not technically being primaries. And the Indebted Kindness also has some quite nice alternatives. Surrounded is a sizable damage boost of 40% with the only requirement being near 3 or more enemies. It's decent against mages in harder content, but also likely has little to no use against red bars if you're going to be one-shotting them regardless. Attrition orbs is also actually not too bad here, as splash damage will count towards the required hits of 10. And Impulse Amplifier is also an all-round good feeling perk, increasing both velocity and reload. The Aberrant Action has the benefit of being craftable, and as such enhanceable, with Enhanced Incandescent being an incredibly popular choice. But here's the thing on that, the enhanced part of this perk in applying 5 more Scorch stacks only actually applies if the Solar Fragment Ember of Ashes equipped. Without that, the base and enhanced version will both deal 30 Scorch stacks. Still though, it's a great perk to have, especially on an ad clear weapon, as this can easily lead to ignitions. Within the Solar Synergy family of perks, there's also Heal Clip in column 3. Again, this one can be used anywhere, as cure times 2 on reload is actually really good for survivability. But is better still on a solar subclass where it can activate options such as Ember of Benevolence. If you're not on a solar subclass, there is some great neutral choices. Ability heavy builds can utilise Pugilist or Strategist in column 3 with Demolitionist in column 4. Between these two you'll be getting a lot of ability energy returns. But the downside of these perks is there's no options here to deal with any type of additional champions. And while Field Prep does increase reserves equal to 2 reserve mods, it's still nowhere near as effective as lead from gold. But next up, here's the best use cases for both choices. So Indebted Kindness is a fair bit better on Arc or Prismatic, but I won't say this is because of voltshot. This perk is good on pretty much any subclass except a few niche Arc interactions like generating Organic Tracers. The real benefit comes from the ability to become amplified. And this effect alongside artifact mod Galvanic Armour for a 30% damage resistance whilst you're amplified, which is a really strong effect. Arc itself isn't exactly the most used, but the fact that it can be accessed on Prismatic is really nice. More so though, the lack of ties between weapons and subclasses is not really a bad thing at all. It makes the Indebted Kindness much more universally usable, kind of like the Forbearance in the fact that it is an arc weapon, but it's not really the fact that it's arc that it's strong. It just has a combination of great perks and a great archetype to carry it along. Aberrant Action is a lot more subclass synergistic, with a combination of Incandescent and Heal Clip, but when you can get this to work, it really works. If you have Ember of Char, Ember of Ashes, and the artifact mod Solar Fulmination, you will now be applying more Scorch stacks, and the ignitions caused from these will spread further Scorch and ignitions. If you can get these ignitions to start chaining between enemies, it's truly unmatched and will even take out multiple high health targets. There's also heal clip with Ember of Benevolence. Since it also heals nearby allies, you can also benefit from 400% increased grenade, melee and class ability energy upon use. I recently posted a support focused speaker's sight build, and Aberrant Action has become my go-to with this setup, mainly for this interaction. And finally, a few other things to consider. The other factors when choosing between these two rocket sidearms is the origin traits. Here I'd give a slight edge to Aberrant Action, but Indebted Kindness of Sundering has come a long way from how bad it was at release. Aberrant Action's Radiolaria Transposer helps with ad clear by creating damaging pulls under defeated enemies, and you could use the artifact mod Logic Reducer to make these pulls last longer and deal additional damage to Bex. Sundering is quite simply just a reload speed increase for a short duration after breaking shields, or destroying vehicles. It's simple enough, but it does actually help out a fair bit in activating voltshot as you get faster reloads. Also obtaining both of these options. Aberrant Action is exceptionally easy, and it's now even focusable from episode Echo's engrams. Within a few days of playing, you will likely be able to craft this. Indebted Kindness, you will of course need the Warlord's Ruin dungeon key, but obtaining them isn't actually that bad. It can be obtained from farming the first encounter refill, which is a quick and easy loop. Though of course luck is involved, and it is certainly possible to go very dry on getting your desired roll, but it is worth it. I should also mention the Call, the strand variant for rocket sidearms. I haven't really bothered with it up to now because it's not really direct competition as it sits in the kinetic slot, but it is fantastic and will work just as well if you want to use another weapon type in the energy slot. Personally with this one I go with Lead from Gold and Vorpal Weapon, and will probably recommend doing the same. There is some strand synergy options though, such as Slice and Hatchling 2 if you want to try out those. So in conclusion, what rocket sidearm should you be using? Aberrant Action goes above and beyond when running specifically a solar subclass. This has to be pure solar too, as Prismatic does not have the benefit of any of the fragments Ember of Char, Ashes or Benevolence. And this is also assuming the perk combination of heal clip with incandescent. I could see this getting the most use on Warlock as it has an already fantastic solar kit and this weapon fits perfectly. But otherwise on Prismatic or any other element, go with Indebted Kindness. It has dual champion summoning capabilities and a stronger ammo economy with Lead from Gold. And of course being able to proc amplified on Prismatic, which I assume is probably the most popular subclass right now, is really beneficial. You don't really need to do anything special to get fantastic use of this weapon though. Just the archetype alone carries. Thank you for watching.